Hey, welcome into Vikings Vent Line here. Sorry, am I too loud, Declan? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't even know how to turn the mic down, so I'm just gonna back away from the microphone. I don't know how to turn the mic down, but the Vikings know how to turn a 29-point lead down. So there's that. Vikings win what became a nail biter in the second half here, Thursday Night Football. This is Vikings Vent Line presented by Surly Brewing Company and TCL, which is one of the world's best-selling consumer electronics brands. They have a new lineup of award-winning TVs delivering the most entertainment with stunning resolution at an affordable cost. Enjoy more of the things you love with TCL. This show is all about you guys. It's the most fan-friendly and interactive show in Minnesota sports. Judd is live at US Bank Stadium right now. If you want to join the show, vikingsventline@gmail.com. We'll send you an invite. Judd, your main takeaway from an 8-point win over the Steelers.
One of the most disgusting Vikings wins I've seen in my lifetime watching this team, but yet it perfectly encapsulates the 2021 campaign. Like if you want to put one thing in a time capsule for this year to show if people say, what were the 2021 Vikings like? Tonight's game is perfect. The first half, they showed the dominance that they have the potential. Now, Pittsburgh played terrible, but to Vikings' credit, they showed the dominance that they have the ability to beat teams. And, lots of teams in this league, they should beat up pretty badly. And in the second half, they completely came unglued. Cousins had his struggles, the entire team, the defense melted down. So I think tonight's game is actually a perfect encapsulation of who the 2021 Vikings are. And I got a note on Twitter from a person who said, I now know what you mean by this team is unlikable. And this is why. I mean, to not win this game convincingly after you're up by 29 points at halftime, and to have it be that you need a Steelers player in the end zone to basically drop the ball at the end of the game to not have a chance for them to tie the score, and to have Xavier Woods chuck his helmet in celebration. For anyone to celebrate that win is a disgusting. You talk about disgusting act. You think Randy Moss pretending to wipe his rump on the goalpost in Green Bay was a disgusting act? Anyone who celebrated this win tonight wearing purple, that is absolutely disgusting. So I think it's a very appropriate game as far as who this team is, but it reminds me of why changes are needed with this team. This one was perfect for that.
All right, I think the word disgusting is an overreaction, but I definitely feel you on this game was a perfect encapsulation. It was the Mike Zimmer, Kirk Cousins era Vikings summed up in two halves. So much potential to score as many points as you want, to run the ball down teams' throats, to hit on big pass plays, and then so much potential to just inexplicably soil yourself and blow a lead, and everything that happened in the second half. So I will say that my main takeaway from this game is that Mike Zimmer and Kirk Cousins together just ain't it. I know they won the game here, but we saw Primetime Cousins show up. He was like 11 for 25 at one point. He almost throws a pick six to let the Steelers right back in the game. But then he throws a dagger pass to KJ Osborne that looked like it iced the game at the time. But just just more validation that the Mike Zimmer, Kirk Cousins era is an acid trip that I think all of us are just ready to be done with here. So.
Hey, there's a payoff on a trip like that. I've yet to see any type of a payoff. Not that I'm speaking from experience, but I'm just saying there's usually some type of payoff when you get some type of fun experience like that, and I've yet to see that. That was ridiculous, dude. You were up 29-0. The what is it? 28-3, right? Was the Patriots Falcons infamous score. I did not want to be the next 29-0. Like, I didn't want to have to deal with the ramifications of blowing a 29-point lead on Thursday Night Football, and the Vikings almost managed to do so.
Well, let's jump in here. Again, if you want to join the show, vikingsventline@gmail.com, and Declan will send you an invite. Judd is at US Bank Stadium, just disgusted. Look at Judd's face right now.
That was gross.
Poor guy needs a Surly.
That was so gross.
Judd, you do need a Surly, don't you?
Love a Surly right now. And you know what? I like a Surly Furious, because right now I'm furious. How could anyone celebrate that? Shut up and get off the field.
All right, let's. Who's first out of the gate here on Vikings vent line, Dex?
Let's go to Evan. Evan, what's up, man? You're on Vikings vent line. How are you?
I'm all right, guys. I'm trying to I'm trying not to lose my mind because I was thinking there's no way we're gonna lose 2 games in a row on the final play of the game. There's just no possible way. But thankfully, Firemouth dropped it and we were able to survive this game. But my biggest takeaway was something you guys have been preaching a lot this week is that it's clear. It's just time for change. And there's peace with the decision because this roster is very good. We have good receivers. We have decent talent on the O-line. We have really good running backs. I mean, Dalvin's a monster. Madison's a really good backup. We haven't even unlocked what Kane can do. You know, Conklin's good. We haven't, Herb's coming back next year. We have a really, really good roster. Once we get a new coaching regime in here, I think this team can really do something special. So tonight was just really all roster and zero coaching to me. What about you guys?
I mean, yeah, Evan, I think you hit the nail on the head in terms of the potential of this team has been on display on a regular basis. The first half was all about the potential of this team, taking a 29-point lead on a flawed but competitive Steelers team shows the potential of this team. And then there's the flip side. Potential isn't just upside. There's the potential for them to do what they did in the second half, and we saw it. I mean, this is like the most frustrating and mind-bogglingly stupid team at times. Like, how do you not just win that game 34-10 or something? Like, why are the Steelers allowed to even come within a whiff of that drive that they had down the field at the end of the fourth quarter? It's unbelievable.
I knew it was going to be rough right coming out of the second half when we settled for 2 straight field goals. I said, this is the point where we're going to let them inch back in the game. And, Ben Roethlisberger, Mike Tomlin, when's the last time they've really gotten blown out and embarrassed? These are Hall of Famers. They're not going to, on prime time, on national television, they're going to find a way to keep the game close and keep it respectable. And that's exactly what they did. And as much as Zimmer likes to be a defensive back guru, that is the worst position group on the team right now. These corners do not know how to play balls in the air. They're either not aggressive enough and letting the wide receivers catch aggressive catches all over their heads, or they're just running straight through the receiver. There's no middle ground, and even Patrick Peterson didn't get the tackle at the end of the game to keep him in bounds. So I'm ready for the new coaching regime because this roster is ready to blow.
All right, thanks, Evan.
Appreciate you, Evan.
He's right. He's exactly right. Like, you watch this and it's just like, I mean, Patrick Peterson of all people, how do you not keep that guy in bounds?
By the way, why would you even throw that pass? That was unbelievable. Like, that pass over the middle, he literally caught that ball in the center of the field with no timeouts. What are they doing?
That's exactly what I said.
And the Vikings don't make them pay for that?
But how do you not make them pay? Because if you tackle him in bounds, there were 2 seconds left. The clock just runs out. It's done there.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
Dex, who's next?
Let's go to David. David, what's up, man? You're on Vikings vent line. How are you?
I didn't know if I was making it on or not. All right, long-time listener, first-time caller. I have been a fan of the Vikes since 4th grade. I met them all winning a multiple sclerosis readathon back when Matt Blair was playing for the team.
Wow, dude. Wow.
Yeah, way back. I've been doing this shit this stuff for a long time. Sorry.
That's okay.
Anyway, man, the pain is real. The pain is real. We're up 29-0, and I'm watching with my wife, and I'm like, and she's smacking me. I actually took my jersey off because I started the game without a jersey. We did great. I was like, grab my jersey. Let's do this. And we got dressed up, and then I was like, wait. We did better without the jersey. And I took it off. All of our superstitions. We all do that stuff all the time. And the reality is, man, you guys have been preaching it forever. It's crazy. Zim's got to go. I mean, this whole run pass thing is absolutely ridiculous. That was the whole second half. And Yeah, and then Dalvin's dealing with a shoulder injury, and let's run him right up the middle. That's great. Like, hey, he's feeling okay to push. Like, let's not put Madison in there for these tough yards. Like, even if you're gonna run, like, I don't know, let's just keep Dalvin in there and run right up the middle, right where everyone knows we're going, and let's see if his shoulder holds out.
It was kind of amazing. Like Dalvin Cook dislocated his shoulder 11 days ago. He ran the ball 27 times for 205 yards in this game. I felt like every time he took a hit,
was
I
awesome.
was cringing. But good for him, man. What
Where
a warrior.
was JJ the whole second half? Where was? I mean, let's call a spade a spade. Like, oh, we're up 29. Let's leave it to the defense that sucked for the last how many games? Like, yeah, we're up 29. Okay, let's run it every play and leave it to the defense. Great.
And David, thank you for coming on, dude. Appreciate it. You're a first timer. We love the first time, long time first timers.
First time.
Mike Zimmer and Kirk Cousins both have this amazing ability to either get, I'm not going to say they get comfortable with leads. I think it's like they get uncomfortable with leads. Like, why are you guys not able to just keep powering through and throttling a team? The Vikings, they scored 29 unanswered points to start this game. They haven't scored 40. They've scored 40 points once in their last 41 football games. This was your perfect opportunity, right? You're carving this defense. Just step on their throats in the second half, and you get teeth clenching Cousins. And you get, hang on for dear life Mike Zimmer, both offensively and defensively. Like, this was your chance to just throttle a team on national TV, and they're incapable of doing it as a pair.
The first thing that goes wrong with these two freaks them out.
Yeah.
The first thing, like, they're looking for, if they're up by 29 or by 3, the first thing that goes wrong, they both forebode football joy, and they're like, oh my God, got to dial her back now. And that's how they are. And again, a lot of the problems with Mike and Kirk, as different as they appear to be, they are very much alike. And I think both of them live their lives incredibly uptight, which is really bad when you're trying to play sports.
There was a play, and of course, like, a bunch of people are going to think I'm just dumping on Cousins here, but I think there was a play that signified how little fun this team appears to be having. And so Cousins scrambles for a first down on like 3rd and 5 toward the end of the game. And at the time, it looked like it might have been the clincher. And then I think the interception came after that, and the Steelers come back down the field. But he runs for a first down that looked like, okay, that was the first down that pretty much ends this for the Steelers. Everyone just sort of gets up, walks back to the line of scrimmage, walks back to the huddle. No fist pump, no show of emotion. Like, okay, we almost blew the lead, but I just clinched the game. Like, first down, get the crowd going, like the Baker Mayfield thing that he does, or the Tom Brady thing. No linemen coming over to grab him by the shoulder pads and shake him like, yeah, we just won the game. It was like, you may have just won the game, and everyone's just walking back to the huddle like a bunch of zombies. It's like, do they even enjoy a big play in the fourth quarter?
I think a lot of this team knows they're absolute frauds, and so you're not as inclined to enjoy things. I think they know that they're not that good, and that it's just like they're not having fun. It's quite clear, and they're not that good. I mean, the defense tonight, what the hell happened there? Like, Ben Roethlisberger, and if Pittsburgh had capitalized on this in the first half, Pittsburgh wins the game. But just throw the ball up. Breeland or Boyd, who's awful, or Dantzler will grab you. You'll get 40 yards, 30 yards. So I think part of the thing about not enjoying it is they're not enjoying it. And I think part of that is for good reason. They're just not a good team. They're a joyless collection. Again, they're an unlikable group. Like, we need to just get our heads, as much as you all might like the Vikings, and someday they'll be back and they'll be good again. But this is a joyless group of humans playing a sport that if you don't enjoy, you shouldn't play.
I love it. I love how you just like. I've never heard Judd despise a Vikings team as much as he despises this team.
I'm back where I was with the Wild 4 years back.
Yeah, it's
like
exactly what I was about to say.
it's gross. It's gross to try and watch these guys go through the motions of a sport that's supposed to be filled with emotion.
Yeah, it's also like even if they would have won the game in the convincing fashion, it looked like they were going to win the game. I think it was like and you were inside the stadium, but it kind of felt quiet, and I think fans still feel the shock of that Lions loss. But if this would have ended in a blowout, it would have been such a classic Vikings win, right? Where you lose to the Lions, you lose the game that pretty much ends your season or eliminates all expectations. And then you come back and put up an amazing performance the week after that. Like, how many times have we seen that in the Mike Zimmer, Kirk Cousins era, where it's like, okay, now everyone's just like out, and the expectations are gone, and now you come back and throttle somebody at home.
Right. And tonight did nothing to change my feeling about what needs to be done. I guess the end of the game or the second half increased my disgust. But like at halftime, I wasn't like, oh, you got to keep Zim now and let's keep Rick Spiel. Oh yeah, you are cooking with gas. I was like, this is just typical. The building was, I would say, to start the game, pretty dead. And there were a ton of, not surprisingly, Steelers fans here. But yeah, the emotion in the building was definitely suppressed. I think there's a lot of fans who feel the way that we do and the way that the people who consume our shows do. And I think that the people that we're seeing on Twitter who lash out are a very small group of just people trying to suck up. But overall, I think what we represent is represented by the majority of fans, which is, this is just tired. Like, it's just tired. It's old.
All right, who's next? Vikings vent line here.
Yeah, let's go to Andre. Andre, what's up, man? You're on vent line. Where are you calling from?
Hey guys, I'm calling from Central Oregon out here. One of the few Vikings fan out in Central Oregon. Man, that was a game. My girlfriend actually texted me in the middle of that game. She's like, "Wow, the Vikings are clobbering the Steelers." And I said, "Well, hold on. Like, let's not get a little carried away. Things could happen." She's like, "There's no way." And clearly she hasn't seen a lot of Vikings games this year, but man, I have a question for you guys. What's going on with Dantzler and Kris Boyd? Like, I mean, when Kris Boyd got that tackle and then he stares him down and they call the penalty, like, what's going on with that? There's no reason for him to be bragging on a penalty when he gets hardly any playing time in the first place. What's he celebrating about? That he's on the field, for goodness sake?
You guys would be excited too if it was like the third play you've ever made in the NFL. All right, you would get up and taunt somebody too.
I suppose.
No chance. No chance.
I mean, I'm not a Kirk stan. I agree with you guys completely about Kirk Cousins this year, but I was relatively surprised about him not getting flustered after that first interception, and even kind of that second interception he did. It was somewhat impressive and surprising that he kept throwing the ball, especially to KJ Osborne. And Justin Jefferson, 15 targets. Thank goodness. Can we get some more games where he has at least 15 targets a game?
Yeah, amen, Andre. Amen. Also, like, and Justin he dropped a couple passes. You know, he had one jarred loose on when you go up and you're exposed and your ribs get, take a shot. Not everyone's gonna.
I don't fault him.
Thanks, Andre.
Thank you.
Yeah, the tip ball that was picked was a really bad play. Like, he's got to catch that ball. I love the shot in the first drive, I think, of the game by the Vikings on the potential touchdown pass. And that ball was overthrown, but it was a perfect throw. Like, it would have been a great catch. I don't fault JJ there, but the ball, because if the ball's underthrown, it might get picked. So, like, that pass could have been a little bit closer to the receiver, but that's a tough play. No fault there. He should have got the ball, I think it was in the second quarter, at the goal line. He could have caught that one. And then the ball where he fell, which was a deep pass, I think, to the Pittsburgh 22, was overthrown. But yeah, I mean, I think he was targeted 10 times in the first half, 5 times in the second half. But yeah, I thought that the first half was a tutorial on how the offense should operate. Because you know what? Jefferson's not perfect. He's just damn good. And it felt like the Vikings had like auctioned off a chance to call plays. And like a fan's like, oh yeah, Dalvin should run some. Jefferson should catch a bunch. Yeah. Like it felt like but the problem then as the game went on, it's like, okay, you're going to have to adjust some now. And they kept telling Kirk, like, okay, throw it. The ball that Jefferson tipped for the pick was like, at that point in time, really? Are you doing that right then and there? And the other one I didn't get was the late pass to Osborne on third down that fell incomplete, that stopped the clock with like 2:09 left. It was 3rd and 8, but actually that's one of the few times I probably would have run to just eat as much clock as possible, because I think Pittsburgh was out of timeouts by then. So, but yes, I thought the first half offensive play calling, thumbs up, Clint and Janoko, thumbs up.
Yeah, I mean, even Aikman on the broadcast, you get all these tidbits from the meetings they have with the assistant coaches and the head coach, and he said, yeah, you know, Mike Zimmer went to these offensive coaches and Kirk Cousins and said, just get the ball to Cook, Thielen, and Jefferson. It's pretty simple, and obviously Thielen wasn't playing today, but how that has to be something that gets emphasized and reminded. It's like, no, that should be a prerequisite that, okay, we're going to get the ball to these three guys all the time, or in this case, JJ. And again, like Jefferson wasn't amazing today, but when you target him 15 times, he's still going to do damage. I think he drew a penalty at one point on a play down the field. So, yeah, it's like on the silver lining side, there is so much potential. The first half, you said it, Judd, the first half of this game showed you exactly who this Vikings team can be on a more regular basis. An outburst like that, to go up 29-0, I'm not saying you're going to do it every single week, but like jumping out to a big lead on a team doesn't have to be an anomaly. That's the biggest lead the Vikings have had on an opponent in like 4 years. I mean, it's insane. They've only had, up until today, they've only had one 20-point lead in a game in like the last 30-plus games or 35 games or something. So it's like the Mike Zimmer, Kirk Cousins era Vikings do not take 29-point leads on teams, and yet every week in the NFL, somebody is beating someone 40-10. Like, you can blow teams out. You have permission to. They just haven't figured out how to do it for 3 straight hours. They do it in little chunks here and there. But like that second half was so ridiculous. I'm kind of laughing because I'm just like at peace with whatever happens at this point. Like, we know this team can't win a Super Bowl this year. And we know there's going to be major changes. And so I was kind of like, I mean, if they're going to lose this game, whatever, Ventline's going to be fun. I don't really care either way. That's kind of where I'm at with this team right now. All right, should we get to our next one here?
Yeah, let's go to Guy Paulford.
What's up, guys?
How are you,
What's going on, man?
Hey, good. I have a question, and then I have a dud stable because we ain't heard from Randy in a while, and then I got a silver linings for us. So the first thing is the question: is Randy from Cottage Grove okay? We didn't hear from him this week. There was a lot of listeners very concerned.
Yeah, Declan, what happened there?
So he was on Mackie and Judd. The executive producer thought that because the rant was so short, he wouldn't lead his headline with it. And judging by the comments, and I'm listening to my constituents and my direct superior, it appears that I made a mistake. I can at least acknowledge my mistakes. So Randy will be led in a YouTube headline tomorrow, and I promise everyone will see it.
All
My
right.
bad.
Thank goodness. We were all concerned. There was a bunch of listeners. I commented on one of the videos this week, and I said, "Is Randy okay? Is like, did he hit the Yag machine a little too hard?"
Well, he did hit the Yag machine too hard. That didn't happen, yes. Both those things are true.
All right, let's get to the dud stable for Randy since we didn't hear one earlier. I know this should be a stud stable, but we're going to do a dud stable because the Vikings almost blew that. The first one goes out to Kirk Cousins and all of the all the Kirk stands who are like, Kirk's not the problem. Look at his stats. He's better than Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. I mean, you name it. He's the best. He's better than Johnny Manziel. Like, okay, guys, we get it. Kirk completed 3 passes. Like, I can hold up one hand. 3 passes in the second half. That's a total dud. And he had he completed 5 passes because 2 of them were interceptions. Kirk, you're a dud. Randy, I got your back. The second one.
Love it.
Mike Zimmer. That guy has got to go. Like, what is wrong with that guy? Like, 29-0. He's like, hey, Falcons, how did you lose to the Patriots? Okay, yeah, I'll try that. We'll see if we can't lose this game. What a total dud. Mike Zimmer, 29-0. What are we going to do? Run, punt. Run, punt. Run it up the middle. What are we going to do? We're going to punt. Like, everybody and their brother knows exactly what you're going to do. All Vikings fans could be the defensive coordinator for opposing team if the Vikings have a lead. We'd be like, hey, just put 8 in the box. Put 8 in the box. They're coming up the middle on you. They're trying to run the clock out. Go back there and get them. And if you can get Kirk to melt down, well, by golly, Kurt will just melt down. That's K-U-R-T for you listeners. Kurt. Ask Everson Griffin. He'll help you out. And finally, Clint Kubiak, you dialed up an amazing first half. Amazing. It was untouchable. Dalvin Cook, he said, I'm playing, coach. I don't care what you say. I'm playing. I got a broke shoulder, hurt ankle, and I'm playing. And he almost puts up 200 yards in the first half. 173 yards and 2 touchdowns, I believe it was. Dalvin Cook, you're not a dud. You're a stud. But Clint Kubiak, Ziggy Wilf needs to come down to you and Mike Zimmer. Declan, let's hear Vince McMahon.
You're fired. No problem.
That's your dud stable. Now we got a silver lining.
Okay.
You guys ever heard of that running back number 33, Dalvin Cook? That boy's pretty good. Like, he can run the ball. When you give him a chance, and and I don't know if you guys saw in that first half or not, but the lanes were so big, and Judd commented he went live at halftime. I said Judd could have had 100 yards rushing in that first half. You could have drove a Mack truck. The line was doing great. But then the second half, Ole comes out, and he's got a hold. He can't block. He couldn't block a toddler out there in diapers in a stroller. What is that guy? Why are they prancing him out on the field still? And Bashaud Breeland, like that dude, I don't know, he was coughing or had COVID or something like that. Chris Boyd was actually playing. He was fired up. Like, I got it. He got fired up, and he got a stupid penalty. But, like, my God, why are we marching Bashaud Breeland back out on the field? Are you trying to lose the game, Mike? Like, he's like, well, how can I blow this game? Hey, Bashaud, hey, come here. Hey, come here. We need you back out on the field. Like, what in tarnation are they doing?
Hey, is it Ole or is it Holdy Udo?
No, it's Ole because that guy can't find his brain from his butthole. Him and Bashaud Breeland, Mike Zimmer, and Clint Kubiak are going to march down to see Vince McMahon at headquarters, and he's going to tell them, "You're fired.
Kiss my ass."
Like, my goodness, all Vikings fans have got to see them go. Like, what is Wyatt Davis? Did he like sleep with Mike Zimmer's girlfriend or what? Like, what is the deal? Like,
disappeared. He's in a milk carton somewhere, dude.
Yeah,
nobody quite knows where he is.
Hey, and the last silver lining is the Steelers center made Garrett Bradbury look like a Pro Bowler tonight.
Pulford Skull, everybody.
See ya, Pulford
Great
Skull.
stuff, dude. Great stuff. Love it.
Unbelievable.
The
See ya.
dud stable blended in with the stud stable in there. One of our favorites.
Nice cheap shot.
Pulford
The producer.
Skull.
It was great.
Yeah, you got a good cheap shot in it. You. It was very uncalled for.
You tried to put Randy
I
and
don't
Cottage
know.
Grove in a corner there. You tried to hide Randy and Cottage Grove.
Nobody puts Randy in a corner.
Got to trust Randy and Cottage Grove. Got to trust him. Judd trusts Livia to make him look skinnier and to be skinnier.
You know what? So I went to see my friends at Livia Weight Control Centers earlier today, and I came away with a victory in which I spent a week gearing up for it, and I didn't drop the ball. I didn't screw things up. In fact, I lost another pound plus down to 210, so down about 30 pounds now, from nearly 240 to 210, and you can join me in what they are calling their Season to Believe, and I am giving you a reason to believe that you, like me, can lose the weight. Don't say you can't, and there's a great deal right now. Join today and save 50% off the program. Your first visit is free. It is a limited time offer. Again, I said 50% off the program. 855-GO-LIVEA, Livia.com, Livia.com. 855-GO-LIVEA. Join today and start doing what I've done, which is losing the weight down from a 38-inch waist jean to a 36, feeling better, looking better, I think, sort of. Looking sort of better. Livia.com.
All right. I just saw something in the YouTube comment section. If you rearrange the letters of Ole Udo, it's "Oh, I hold you." Oh, that's amazing. By the way, if you're watching us on the Purple Daily YouTube channel right now, please click the subscribe button and the like button. We can spread the word about this show here. I mean, come on, like you guys are. It should be a celebration. The Vikings just won. It's prime time, baby. They're back in the playoff
I don't
hunt.
blame people.
What is wrong with you guys, man? This is when you got to play your best football, and the Vikings played their best football in the first half today. Go back, look at the film in the second half there, and on to Chicago. I don't know why you're so grouchy. On to Chicago.
I am with the fan base that is sick of this crap. I am with you.
I don't see a loss on the schedule personally. I don't know.
Oh yeah, no more losses. They're gonna run the table right through the Super Bowl.
All right, who is next on Vikings Vent Line?
Yeah, let's go. Is it Luke? Luke, what's up, man?
Oh, hey, what's up?
Nice.
Sorry, I
What's
wasn't
up, Luke?
expecting it.
Where are you
I'm
calling
calling from Canada, Ontario.
Okay.
Ooh,
Yeah,
nice.
so I'm far away, kind of like Chase Claypool, but I hate that guy. Anyway, so I feel bad for everyone with like a disease, like heart disease. Like I have kidney diseases. Every time I watch that, my kidneys start hurting, and like I feel like
Fluttering.
I have to go outside and I have to like take a break, and like I really am like
Don't do that.
like after all those games, man, that stuff sucks. Anyway, my thoughts on Dalvin Cook. Played amazing, and then I saw Madison come in on 3rd and 1. I was like, great, okay, they'll split carries so Cook doesn't get hurt. But then they kept running Cook directly up the middle, and that just made me so mad because people didn't think Cook was gonna play today. I'm glad he did because I got 34 points in fantasy.
Nice.
But another thought I had was defense. So it was obviously going into half, no one was comfortable with the lead. All fans were like, oh, great. All over my Twitter, it was like, yeah, they're going to blow this lead. And yeah. And then it's obviously that they got out-coached when they were playing amazing. It's the same defense. They played amazing first half. They were blitzing, sacking the court, Ben Roethlisberger, intercepting the ball, like doing everything they could. And then no adjustments were made. Mike Tomlin went out there, made all the adjustments, made everything, and just made the Vikings look pathetic on defense. It made me so mad. And then I'm a big Kirk Cousins fan, but I can't even talk about that game. Like, I scratched that from my memory.
I mean, it's been rough the last few weeks.
It's
been rough the last few weeks. I know that he put up 340 and 2 touchdowns and a passer rating last week, but the first half they scored 6 points as an offense. So we are not the biggest Kirk supporters here on Purple Daily and Vent Line. So considering you are a self-admitted Kirk Cousins stan, give us your state of the Kirk address here.
I was watching that game. I'm like, oh, that's not on Kirk. Like doing everything what everyone's doing, but there's a few plays I'm like, okay, he's got to make those throws. I thought at the beginning of the game he was playing really good with the one beautiful ball to JJ. JJ usually makes those catches. I thought JJ had some drops and didn't look himself, like perfectly himself. But then again, he's put up like 140 yards the past 3 games. He's the number 1 receiver today. No Adam Thielen. Teams are going into the games without Adam Thielen being like, okay, double cover JJ. And that's what they did the second half. They obviously were on JJ. Kirk can't look towards him all the time. KJ stepped up, but at the same time, you don't see DD Westbrook. Everyone was so pumped when DD Westbrook came in, and literally nothing. And Chris Hendren, I saw him catch one ball, and I was like, oh, nice, fourth catch for 4th round pick that we just traded away. It pissed me off. I was so mad. And then I'm watching that game. Me and my dad are always watching the game. It's like a tradition together. And every time I'm like, oh, I'll cheery and happy. Every play, we're like hugging each other and looking away. And we're like, it started since the Blair Walsh missed field goal against Seattle. And we're just closing our eyes every time. And he's like 47 and he takes it to heart every time. It's just the saddest thing. I just want to see them do well. It's so frustrating. I'm with everyone, but
Luke, great stuff, dude. Appreciate you
fine.
coming on. I love the you know what, and this is a safe zone for Kirk stans. If you're a Cousins crusader, you can come on the show. You can speak from your own perspective. It's fine.
Oh yeah, and I think a lot of them are at least somewhat realistic about where this team is at. Like, I think we're all joined right at the hip now of being sick of this, being sick of these close games, which by the way are their fault. Like, it's not bad luck now. You were up by 29. Tonight's game being close is your fault. But I mean, it's also on a defense that completely fell apart. What the hell was going on there? I mean, Ben Roethlisberger looked 74 years old for 2 quarters of football, and all of a sudden he looked like Ben Roethlisberger in his prime for the 3rd and 4th quarters. He's throwing the ball up. I mean, Breeland mugged, I think it was Chase Claypool on that one towards the end of the 4th quarter. He mugged him. He drew a flag, which was a good flag, but Claypool also caught the ball. Like, how do you even catch that ball? It's just the whole thing. I can't believe any Vikings fan is taking any solace from this tonight. I just can't.
Dude, have you seen? I mean, I know we saw 2010 Brett Favre, that's about as cooked as I've seen a veteran quarterback, just unconscious on the frozen tundra of TCF Bank Stadium. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger, maybe second to Brett Favre 2010, looked in that first half as cooked as I've ever seen a veteran quarterback, and then he comes to life in the second half.
Where I'll defend Brett in 2010 was to Brett's dying day too. His arm will be good. Like, Brett was cooked and mentally fried. Roethlisberger in the first half, at least, the first half was shot putting the football at times. Like, he was literally trying to get oomph. He was like going like that. And it was like, what are you doing? Like, what's going on here? I mean, he looked fat and slow. That's what I'm saying is I don't know how they made him look so bad for a half where they applied pressure. And that's what you wanted in the Goff game. And then in the second half, it was just like, yeah, it's not going to work as well. Why?
Why? So what's Roethlisberger? 30? Is he 39? He's like 38, 39?
Nope, 39.
So this dude, and by the way, he's played for the same team his entire career. He's had the same head coach for almost his entire career. Why does he still have to look at the plays on a wristband every time they throw? Like, in the 2-minute drill, he was running it and calling his own plays. But like, when they're not in a 2-minute drill, a 39-year-old dude who's played for the same franchise, for the same head coach, like same offensive system for over a decade, 15 years, and he like has to look at he's got like the plays on his wrist.
Here's what you don't know.
Weird?
That was the Murray's menu.
Yeah.
It's a menu. And he's like,
why don't you bring us some chorizo?
I got to get the silver butter knife steak. Silver butter knife steak.
Some of those Hawaiian
fajitas.
fajitas.
Hashibapis would be good.
Yeah. You guys think, he's looking at a plate. Well, I mean, he shouldn't have to look at when he goes to a different town, he's got to look at the menu of the best restaurants in that town.
Where is he right now? Is he at Red Cow? Is Ben just sitting at the Red Cow bar with his shoulder pads on?
Ben strikes me as a Manny or Murray's guy, right? Like he's got to be going to. I got to think he's going steakhouse.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
All right.
He's putting a porterhouse down, no problem right now.
With no fork and a knife. Fix it up.
I said 2 baked potatoes with everything.
Yeah.
2.
Oh, man. Vikings Vent Line here, presented by Surly Brewing Company. Mackie, Judd, our executive producer, Declan. I'm trying to stay away from this mic deck. So just,
you've been great.
Am I good? Okay.
You've been great.
All right.
You've been great.
I'm just trying not to make the levels blow up here.
Chef's kiss. Oh,
yeah.
You've been great.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
All right. Who's next on the Vikings Vent Line?
Let's go to Kyle. Kyle, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line. Where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm in Denver, guys. Thanks for having me on.
What's going on, man? What did you see? Do you think this is like a loss, or like what does it feel like to you?
I have a couple comments, if you don't mind. First things, it appears Demaryius Thomas died tonight, so I just want to say, rest in peace to him. I had the pleasure of speaking with him a few times. Seemed like a really good person. So let's always remember that football is just a game, and it's always should never be taken too seriously. So as frustrated as we get with this team, it's always just a game. But that's not what I'm calling. The second point I wanted to make is my buddy is 12-0 in fantasy football, and he is starting Laquan Treadwell this week. So, who knows? The Vikings could always get hot and win it all. And then my question for you guys is, I mean, why are so many fans excited about this win? Like, what has to happen for Vikings fans to come together? Like, this doesn't seem like a win that should, be exciting. But so many people are excited. So, I mean, what has to happen to the Vikings franchise to bring the fan base together, in your opinion? Thank you.
Who's excited though? Like on Twitter or where?
Judd, you saw the stadium. You were there.
They were begrudgingly excited. Like I think they were excited because they thought that they should be. But I didn't sense real atmosphere of upbeat. Like I think they were excited because they didn't blow the lead completely. But I don't think it was like a galvanized, oh man, the Vikings won. I think a lot of people were like, this is just confirmation. Fans aren't going to boo the win, but I didn't feel the ordinary excitement.
No, we have a mini bye week, and we have 9 days off, and we have an easy game next Sunday or 2 Sundays from now, whatever. People are going to be excited.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I feel like the crowd sounded, and I'm down the street at the studio here, so I wasn't in the stadium, but just coming across the TV, the crowd sounded like it was still hungover from that Lions loss. So I think if they beat the Bears and get back to 500, then people are going to start. But Judd's not going to let them. Sports Dad's not going to let fans fall into the trap of being sucked into, well, what if they can just sneak in and then maybe they can, the bar is raised here higher than what the Vikings can. Like the Vikings can get to 10 wins only if they run the table here. And the bar that we've set for this franchise has to be above sneak into the playoffs and get smoked in the first round. And that's kind of the best case scenario for this team right now, right? Sneak into the playoffs and get smoked in the first round on the road, like by the Bucks or something.
Last thing I say, and I appreciate it, but I mean, I don't know that that'll get everyone on the same page. Like there's another radio station. I just don't know what it'll take to get the fan base, vibing together. And I just wanted to know what you guys think that it would take to do that.
Well, it would take, it's a good question, Kyle. Thank you for jumping on here. So, here's the thing. I think you've got two factions of fans here, and if you want to call one radio station versus others, you've got people that are just always going to just commit to cheering for the team no matter what, and hey, they tried hard, they snuck into the playoffs and whatever, and like everything is so either the fans that want an actual championship that are disappointed and pissed when they aren't playing up to their potential, either those fans have to come down and get rid of their expectations, or the fans that are just kind of okay with, run it back with Zimmer again and Spielman again and just kind of sneak into the playoffs and get, give the Packers the division again, or they have to raise their expectations. I think the only thing that would bring everyone together, well, two things. A dynamic, offensive-minded, great leader of a head coach, like more of a modern head coach that is the CEO of a 53-man roster, not just a defensive coordinator that pops his head into an offensive meeting once in a while and begrudgingly in year 4 starts meeting with the quarterback, and a more dynamic franchise quarterback. And again, this is a huge wish list because you can't just snap your fingers and be like, cool, Sean McVay and Patrick Mahomes, come on down. Like, you need to find these things, and it might take you more than one off season to find both of those things. But I think if you had an offensive-minded, great leader of a head coach and a dynamic leader of a quarterback that's younger and can be the guy for 10 years, I think Vikings fans would very much be on the same page. But again, that's a huge. Those are two huge things to go out and get.
Yeah, in 2021. That there is no way that the entire fan base is going to come together. It's just not going. I mean, there's always going to be fans fans cheered tonight, and I feel bad for them because they paid for tickets. Like they're like, okay, at least we won. I'm not going to begrudge that. I'm not going to begrudge fans. The only thing I don't like is this Pollyanna BS where people buy what they're sold by certain people in the market. But I mean, much like politics, the 2021 Vikings are never there's not going to be a consensus here. I feel like there is a large camp of people, though, like us. I think tonight's win, if you were going to win this game, it's a very productive win in the sense that it still begs for change. Mm-hmm. So, like, everything is falling Judd right now. You lost to Detroit. That falls Judd. You had a 29-rip lead. You basically blew it. That falls Judd. So, like, nothing that's transpiring now is going to save people.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. I'm assuming the Wilfs were at that game and watching that transpire.
Right over there.
Yeah,
over there.
Like they're watching that lead dwindle. Like you're probably not hugging each other and high-fiving. I mean, maybe you are just in the moment when they win the game, but you're looking saying, okay, wow, national TV, and you almost blew a 29-point lead.
And at halftime, 29-0, I think you're probably saying, where has any of this been? Like, they're football fans. There's no way that they 4 days ago they saw their team lose on the last second play in Detroit. First half, they apply pressure on the quarterback. Their offense looks dynamic. The 29-0 lead is as big of an indictment as anything, because it's like, oh, hold on a second here. We don't expect to be up by 29 at the half all the time, but this proves that we can do something like that. So, yeah, everything is falling as it should, as frustrated as it is.
All right, Dex, let's keep the train moving here on Vikings Vent Line.
Yeah, let's go to Trevor. Trevor, are you behind some type of metallic-y disco ball?
Trevor is the acid trip that is the Mike Zimmer, Kirk
Is Trevor
Cousins
like
era
a
of
carpet
football.
there? That looks like carpet.
No, I got just a shirt on. I don't know what you guys are going on about.
No, your video feed's out, but we can hear you, so fire away, Trevor.
All right. Well, I guess it was just first off, I'm in Minnetonka. My first football memory is just from 98 or I guess 2000 Dante Culpepper truck sticking cornerbacks and just watching this pathetic Vikings offense. I mean, first half was everything that we dreamed of, right? But the second half of just watching what was a pretty pathetic attempt at 6 points? What was that? I guess in a perfect world, we'd have a head coach where you come out of the half and you have a game plan to put up 29 more points. Other than right now, we're just sitting at a coach that just wants to sit back and sit on his laurels and let everything happen to him instead of taking the attack and attacking. Because, I mean, where was the pressure in the second half?
Yeah. No, Trevor, some great points there, and I'll add something too. And this kind of goes back to, the caller, quote unquote, before about what brings Vikings fans together. This team lacks great leadership. I think there's leaders. I think Eric Kendricks I think there's some leaders in the locker room that, sprinkle through. I think Harrison Smith and Eric Kendricks and Thielen, those guys are leaders. But the pillars of the franchise are the general manager, who's not in the room on a regular basis, right? He's creating the roster and he's dealing with contracts, but the people in the room that are the pillars are the head coach and the quarterback. Mike Zimmer is, and maybe he was this for the first few years and it just wore off, but he is not a great leader of a locker room. I think he's been a great schemer defensively. I don't think he connects very well with players. I think you got agents throughout the season of Vikings players that are tweeting rants about the coaching staff. And so you've got players that are now bitching to their agents about the Vikings coaching staff. There's clearly a disconnect. Mike has not done a great job of connecting with players throughout his career, especially the last couple of years. And Kirk Cousins is an I just work here guy who can put up 4,000 yards passing and a bunch of touchdowns and a great touchdown to interception ratio, and he's the 5th highest passer rating ever, and that's great. But when push comes to shove, he is, I just work here. I just run the plays that are called. He's not, Kirk Cousins isn't taking ownership of the franchise. He's not the one, like when Tom Brady gets up to a podium or Tom Brady is, in and around practice, like that is Tom Brady's team. This is not Kirk Cousins' team. I don't think he's comfortable with it being Kirk Cousins' team. I think he's comfortable being told, here are the plays. Here's who you should throw to this week. Okay, I think until they get better leaders in those two spots, and I'm not saying that those guys are train wrecks, because those two guys together actually prevent your team from being a train wreck. Like, they're both good enough at their jobs to be train wreck proof. You're not going to go 3-14 with Mike Zimmer and Kirk Cousins in those two spots, but they're not good enough leaders to take you to a Super Bowl contender spot either. And that's the purgatory this franchise is stuck in right now.
Yeah, and I think it's going backwards too, because Mike has, again, lost his fastball. Defensively, he's just lost his fastball. Like, you can't be that bad in the second half and be good at what you do.
Yeah.
So, it's like the one thing that Mike brought that was quantifiable is now gone. So if he doesn't bring that, and his credibility shrinks then, right? Because, okay, Mike, you're a defensive guy, but in the second half, your defense collapsed So what do you bring exactly? Because you don't care about the quarterback that much. You don't care about offense that much. And so I think that's where it's just clearly eroded. And he doesn't bring – when he addresses that team, it used to be because I lead a kick-ass defense. Now what is it? I lead a kick-ass defense for 2 quarters of football? Like that's not going to be respected.
Dex, let's actually let's hear from Mike Zimmer. He just got done speaking to the media.
Does it kind of feel like a microcosm of the entire season, encapsulated in 2 halves?
I don't know so much about the 2 halves. Last week was kind of like this. We didn't play good in the first half, and we played pretty good in the second half. It came down to last play, and we lost. I don't know. I keep trying to teach these guys how to finish. We talk about it all the time, being detailed about your job, being detailed. And I do think there was some, especially in the first half, guys were detailed about everything. They played with a lot of energy. I guess we haven't really been in a game where we've been up by so much. And, I was still trying to be aggressive with everything really that we were doing, and we didn't execute as well.
You know what struck me tonight as well that's really frustrating about this entire operation? How many times Mike has lamented, well, we're on all these close games. I mean, my team's in all these close games, as if he has nothing to do with that. As if it's his
I try
players.
to teach these guys.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, man, I know what we're supposed to do.
Dude,
These guys keep screwing
Michael,
up.
this is your team. You are in charge, Michael. You can't. It's not like, well, I mean, to hear him, and this is another very Kirk thing too. This is where they're similar. They somehow are hands off about things. It's like, no, Mike, your team is in. Do you ever sit down, Mike, and think about, we're in a ton of close games, too many for my comfort. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? And look at this. Look at the close games too. Look at all of the different shapes and forms they have taken. It's not just one thing, right? It's not just every game is close. If this team was a likable cardiac kids bunch, it might be fun. Hey, they win a bunch of close games. That's cool. Or they play a bunch of close games. But in every way, shape, or form, they're blowing games. Games that should be tight or shouldn't be tight are tight. And I'm really frustrated by how much he tries to distance himself from this entire operation. Yeah, Phil, you're exactly right. I try and show them. Well, you're not doing it.
Yeah. It's like watching him. He has a different demeanor too at these press conferences now than in previous years. He looks like he's out of answers, because he is out of answers. I mean, they keep doing the same, and part of it is, would the defense be better if Danielle Hunter, in fairness to Zimmer, Danielle Hunter being out is a huge deal for this defense, but it's just it's kind of the same old script. In key moments, this defense just seems to wilt.
But he's also the coach of the entire team, and it's always this hands off. Well, I've tried to tell them they can't play all these, his number one job is
Kirk does the same thing.
Right.
Kirk does the same thing.
Exactly right.
It's two dudes who love to deflect. They don't own and shoulder during the hard moments.
And Zimmer's number one job, the lead bullet point on his sheet of what to do, is to lead people. I don't care what position. I don't care if you're the punter.
But in his mind, he thinks the lead thing is to scheme defense and call defensive plays.
Which he's not.
And then lead people might be the third thing on that list, or further down.
And the problem with your lead thing is he's lost his fastball in doing it. So, again, what would you say you do here?
Yeah. All right, Vikings Vent Line continues on here on the Purple Daily YouTube channel.
Let's go to Jake. Jake, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line. Where are you calling from?
St. Louis Park today, boys.
Nice, man.
How are we doing?
Judd Zulgad territory, baby.
My neck of the woods, my man. My neck of the woods.
All right. So, yes, there's nothing to be proud of tonight. I sat there just blank stare, dead inside, nothing. That was horrible. I guess a couple bright side things. I was proud of Dalvin Cook for playing in this game. He felt like he could play, and he played pretty well. Hit most of the holes, so I was happy with that, but that's basically the only player I really want to shout out right there. I do maybe a little shout out to Anthony Barr and half the defense for telling Chris Boyd to get off the field after that penalty. That was nice to see. And then back to Zimmer. I think he's just lost it with his ability to coach like the defensive backs he's supposed to be good at. I think he's just telling them too many things, and there's so many things going on in their minds that they have to do correctly for him that they're not making it simple enough, and they're just making errors left and right. You look at the team, I think there's enough talent. I think there's talent on the defense. I think the corners are actually talented. I think it's just the voice that they're hearing now has become stale, and it's just nothing is inspiring them to play well. They're doing all the wrong things. Like Breeland on a couple of those plays, it's just he's just not even playing defense. He's just in his face, putting his hands on him. He's not trusting what he's been taught. He's not trusting what he's supposed to do. And I've seen him in the past play pretty well. I mean, we talked about at the beginning of the year, he was the 21st ranked corner by like Pro Football Focus at the beginning of the year from last year, something like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, these guys are talented. They're just something is just stale, probably just everything coming from Zimmer. And it's just sad. That's pretty most of the points I have to make. I have one last thing I'm going to say. I'm going to call out Mackie a little bit here for his Vikings positivity for just kind of jinxing us with 2 missed kicks to start the day. I was just like, no, he's jinxed us. We're done.
Yeah, I told you it was like 24 hours ago. My purple positivity was the Vikings have found a kicker. It's great. Greg Joseph comes out, just misses right away. Misses a field goal. That field goal was just like a duck hook. It was 53 yards, just a disaster. So, all right, I'll own it. Maybe I was a little presumptuous in thinking the Vikings found their 5 or 10 year kicker. And you know what? You know what, Jake, for calling me out to have the bravado to call me out, we're gonna make you the surly vent of the night here. On Purple Daily, all right. Listen, we are wide open to being wrong on the show, and we love it when you guys call us out for being wrong. I was actually at Surly earlier tonight, little pregame action tonight. With some friends, and our friends at Federated too were there with us, Shelby and her husband. So over 30 beers on draft, from the flagship Furious up to experimental and vintage beers. You're gonna get 2 appetizers for the table, 4 entrees of your choice, 3 beers per person, a night on us and Surly at the Surly Beer Hall.
Pick me up,
Jake.
Oh, you want to come, Good? I'll bring you.
Pick me up.
Oh, we'll talk Vikings all night long. It'll be great.
Right on. Judd's gonna want to talk like 80s North Stars with you, so just be aware, right?
I love it. So, I wasn't born then. I don't know about that.
So Jake, send an email to Declan. Just send it to VikingsVentline@gmail.com, and he'll hook up with the details. Right?
Correct, Jake.
Thank you, boys.
Right on,
Thank
man.
you, Jake.
All right, that's Jake.
I could just see Judd talking 80s North Stars, replacements, like
hell yeah.
Jake's like, I'm good.
Try to think of like the Judd Mount.
I gotta go.
The Judd Mount Rushmore talking points, like 80s North Stars, the replacements, Surly. I think I'm missing one more. Maybe Stella. I don't know. Maybe one other thing.
A little Husker Du, maybe. I could talk some Husker Du. I
There
could
you
talk
go.
some
Yeah.
Soul Asylum. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Met Stadium, Met Center, a lot of decks. There's a lot of parts here.
Now, I will say here, and I think people are kind of catching on to us, just sort of an inside baseball thing here on Purple Daily. So people are saying that Pulford Skoll deserved the vent of the night because his call was excellent.
It was.
But here's the thing. So Surly Brew Hall is based in the Twin Cities. Like, Pulford lives in Tennessee. Now, Pulford, if we're happy for you, and maybe we'll give it to Pulford as an excuse to get your butt up here so we can all go to Surly together and throw a couple beers back. But, we try to be realistic. If you live 15 hours away, we're probably, it's, I don't know.
You guys
tell us.
Iowa last week, right, Phil?
Yeah.
I thought there was a guy in like
4 hours.
Yeah, so that's fine.
Yeah,
but I mean, yes, we want it to be used because it's such a good deal. You get 3 free beers a piece, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I see someone here, Andy, in the Facebook comments said Mackey just about called this game. He said they'd win by 10, right? I am so pissed. This is like one of the worst beats in Write That Down history. I said the Vikings would win this game by 10 points or more. They had a 29-point lead in the second half, right?
Yep.
Come on.
But it was like one of the most prolific Write That Down episodes. That we're gonna have multiple touchdowns come off the board. You had one, I had one, listeners had one. Judd was looking ahead.
I had two actually.
I wasn't. I had no interest in this game.
Yeah.
No, this game didn't intrigue me one bit. I tried to look. I got through it personally and professionally tonight. I have no interest beyond Friday's show in reliving this game. It's just another step in a long step to get the necessary January 10th changes. January 10th is the key date here.
Okay.
That's
Is that the date? Is that the Black Monday?
That's the Monday after the season.
Do you think that? So Dan Patrick, and I didn't hear this. A couple people on Twitter said Dan Patrick said, and I couldn't tell if it was sourced or what, but on his radio show today, that if the Vikings would have lost tonight, he said this before the game, before they had a 29-point lead, but if they would have lost, that Mike Zimmer's job.
There were a lot of people talking like that. I never heard it sourced. I never heard it like officially sourced.
Dude,
I heard a lot of speculation.
If they would have blown a 29-point lead,
yeah,
he would have been gone. Yeah. If they would have lost that game after taking that lead,
yeah. But I mean, I don't want them. I'm glad that they won like they did because I want the firing to come, but I don't want it tomorrow. There's no sense in making in like trying to make the playoffs. It's a waste of their time.
And they're still. I mean, this game
they're
definitely
alive.
puts them right back in that mix.
There's 7 teams now, Phil. There's 14 teams total.
They would have been better off actually flip-flopping these last two. They would have been better off for like conference record tiebreaker purposes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, beating Detroit, losing to the Steelers.
This is all working out as the guy upstairs intended. I'm very happy with it.
All right, who's next? Let's
go to Eric. Eric, what's up, brother? You're on Vikings Event Line. How are you?
Hey, guys. Thanks for being the best station in Twin Cities.
I'll look at that.
Dude, I just want to say, first of all,
Checks in the mail.
Let's be nice to Mike Zimmer's family, okay? Because it isn't. Don't attack them.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Are people attacking Mike Zimmer's
Yes.
family?
Yeah, there's been some weird things.
Yeah, it happened this week.
Like somebody threatened his daughter and her kid or something. That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's garbage.
It is garbage. And I will say this, for Mike Zimmer, as a Viking fan, we should recognize the good with the bad. And Mike Zimmer, when he first took over, did turn this defense over. Mm-hmm. He really did. His time is running out.
Mm-hmm.
And so we shouldn't deny that. But we should be nuanced and we should be open-minded enough to know that when he took over, he did good too.
Mm-hmm.
So all I'm saying is just chill out on Mike Zimmer. I don't want to see him coach next year, but let's just look at him in the pantheon of Vikings history and say he was a good coach. I mean,
I agree.
He was Dennis Green. Name one coach who's won a Super Bowl with the Vikings. None of them have. So Mike Zimmer sits in the pantheon of Dennis Green, Bud Grant. He sits in that pantheon. He really does.
Is Mike Zimmer, not that this is a high bar, but is Mike Zimmer one of the 3 best coaches in Vikings history?
Yes.
Yeah.
Judd has more context because he's old.
But
yeah, I think so. I mean,
Bud 1, Denny 2, Mike 3, Burnsy 4.
Burnsy? Is he above Burnsy?
Might be a good question for Pat tomorrow.
Chili somewhere in there. Chili somewhere in there.
I think Chili's behind.
Is Chili on the Mount Rushmore?
No, because you know what? Chili is
his little hair.
Chili gets more credit actually personnel wise for like going to get Favre. Like as far as a coach, he wasn't that good. I think personnel wise, that's what we've always been told, which is Chili as a personnel guy was actually, in retrospect, good. My question would be between Burnsy and Zim, but I think Zimmer probably wins out.
Well, guys,
that's why
I will say this though. I think the downfall of Zimmer, the whole Zimmer, Cousins, and Spielman dynamic is I don't think Zimmer ever wanted Cousins, right?
No.
Right.
And
correct.
When you are talking about an offensive line and you say we want a zone blocking offensive line, what does a zone blocking offensive line mean to you? That means the running game. Yeah. That means a mobile quarterback. If I have $84 million invested into Kirk Cousins, I want fat guys there. I want a fat guy at center. I want a fat guy at right guard. I want a fat guy at left guard. I want guys that are protecting that middle, keeping the pocket clean so that a guy like Cousins can complete those passes. The dynamic of all of those guys never meshed, right? Because Zimmer wanted a guy whose cap would be 20 touchdowns a year, hand the ball off, run the ball, wear the leather helmets,
that's
just be a basic offense.
Yeah.
You bring.
All right, I think we're losing Eric there, but
great call,
good
though.
stuff, man.
But he brings up an excellent point. Like I turn 29 next week, and I remember Dennis Green. I wasn't old enough to probably appreciate or really understand the body of work that he accomplished, at least without looking at it from a historical view. But if you're someone like me who's between 24 and 28 years old, and you've only seen Tice, Childress, Frazier, Zimmer. Mm-hmm. And I know those other three, it's almost by default, but Zimmer is, I think, number 3 on the list of just historical Vikings figureheads. He's he's 2 or 3 behind Bud Grant.
We do this thing too with, not as much with coaches, but especially with Vikings quarterbacks, where, why are you banging on Kirk Cousins? He's the second best quarterback in Vikings history. And it's like, well, first of all, that's debatable. 2009 Brett Favre is the second best quarterback in Vikings history, but well, Mike Zimmer is the second best, third best coach in Vikings history. It's like, okay, well, that's not the bar. The bar isn't like, this is a franchise that's never won a Super Bowl. So your bar shouldn't be to compare to the other coaches that have fallen short of winning a Super Bowl. It's
right.
How does a Mike Zimmer compare to his peers in the league at the time that you're evaluating, right?
Well, yeah, and Mike without Kirk was a better coach. Like Mike without Kirk was a far more functional coach, and this is, again, gets back to what we talked about a couple days ago. This is why his firing doesn't need to be this, you're fired, get out. It's simply, your time has run out here. Like, it happens.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
it was winning. It was winning football record wise.
Yes. I do think that Green is the second best coach, though. So I think Zimmer's third or fourth. I would personally probably say third. But Dennis Green made the playoffs almost every year. He was an offensive guy, did some good things there. So I would say Green gets my vote as the second best. And the quarterback thing, though, is so tough because beyond Tarkington, too, there's been no stability here. Like, Kirk has been the most stability in a long time, but has he done things that are great? No. I judge coaches differently. I mean, the threshold for a quarterback, the bar is really high, and it should be really high. So, but yeah, I mean, Mike is nothing about the parting of ways with like Mike or Rick needs to be malicious. And yes, for anyone to get on Twitter or I don't know where and like go after Kirk's kid and grandkid is beyond ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely ridiculous. This is about sports. This is about sports. This isn't about ever getting into a person's personal life, and that's just disgusting.
Yeah. All right, Dex, who we got next year on Vikings Vent Line?
Let's go to Rick in Illinois. Rick, what's up, brother?
Hey, guys. How's it going? Can you hear me?
Yep,
yeah, man, we got you.
Perfect.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. I love coming on the show. I got a couple points here that I wanted to talk about and then kind of lead into a Vikings fan story, if you guys didn't mind.
Let's do it.
So we all kind of know the overarching narrative of this team and what needs to happen. So I just kind of wanted to talk about a few things from this game, which I find funny because we all feel very somber and kind of just defeated after a victory, which is sad that that's what this fan base has come to at this point. We were talking about the lack of leadership. I'm actually happy that I wasn't put on here until after you played the Zimmer clip, because, him saying this, what he said there just proves it. Kirk was out there ice cold in the second half after looking really good, actually, in the first half for the most part. We're up 29 and we all feel uncomfortable about it. It's unfortunate that it's gotten to that point. I'm basically Declan's age, so, kind of the same thing. It's been the same thing our whole life where we've never had that one team where we can just be like, all right, up 29, this game's over. We can sit back and relax, That leads me to, like, my next point, basically. So I live in Champaign, Illinois. There's basically no Vikings fans here. Like, I have one friend who's a Vikings fan, and then all my other friends are, fans of other teams. My two best friends are Colts and Rams. So they watch all the games with me. And unfortunately, right now, I'm actually on quarantine because I have COVID. So I watched the game by myself tonight, and I texted them at the end of the game, and I kind of feel, I should say, to any other Vikings fan out there that doesn't live in Minnesota, you're in the same situation as me where your friends watch the Vikings just because they're your friend. You should text them and apologize, because that's what I did. You know, I got to the point it was whenever they were down by 8, and I texted my two best friends, and I said, I'm sorry that you guys watch this team because of me.
I'm sorry for just like bringing my emotional pain and conflict to you guys too. It's just what a terrible friend I am.
And because of it, us Vikings fans, we do crazy things, because of our fandom, and we're just so used to the pain. We're almost gluttons for punishment, which leads me to my story. I've heard the one fan who came on a few weeks ago and write that down, who was telling you that his girlfriend lives in Philadelphia, and you guys had asked him if he went to a game out there. Well, my sister does live in Philadelphia, and back in 2018, she called me and said, hey, I've got tickets the Bears-Eagles game. If you drive out here, I'll give you a ticket and you can go to the game. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, of course. And me being the proud Vikings fan I am, I wore my Cook jersey in there and everything, and I'll tell you, it was a terrible experience.
Oh
no,
but it's one of those things, us as fans, these are the things we go through with this team. So
what were they like? Were they mocking you for the NFC Championship game a few years ago?
Yeah. As soon as I got out of the car, the first thing I heard was 38-7, like right in my face.
Yeah.
And as we were walking to the stadium, people were driving down the road, like leaning out their windows, screaming at me, like, "Oh, bleep the Vikings," and "Oh, you're scum," like just saying the worst things you can imagine. I had a guy walk up to me, and he got like right in my face, and he said, "This is so disrespectful." He was like, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "I'm just watching the game, man." I was like, "If anything, I'm rooting for your team, considering you're playing a team in my division." And he was like, "But what are you watching?" I was like, "The game." And
Dude,
he was like,
fans,
"I'm not going to hurt you, but someone will before you leave today."
Okay, guy. Those are the dumbest fans in America. Philadelphia sports fans are the dumbest fans in America. If you want, by the way, on the Mackie and Judd YouTube channel and podcast feed, there's an hour-long episode. It's in the vault section. It's from that week. Now, Judd and I also got it thrown back in our faces, but we just like fought with Philadelphia sports radio hosts and fans for the entire week leading up to that. If you want to hear just how ridiculous those fans are and how dumb they are, definitely check that out.
It's horrible. I firmly believe that they got that Super Bowl at the Vikings' expense, really, considering they won it in our house, the following 2 weeks. They paid a price for it, though, because we've beaten them every time since we've played them since. And also, they've just...
Can't hang the banner for those, though.
I would take the one win to play back here than I would beating them since. That's like the story of this team, right? The Vikings. Okay, the year after they lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, they beat the Chiefs.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
99. They beat the Falcons to start the season in Atlanta. Okay, but you lost the 98 champions. So it's like, yeah, this is so Vikings.
Full circle. It's full circle, right back to the point of where we started this out of. It's sad that we've gotten to that point,
Yeah.
And that's all. My best friend Abby, she's a Rams fan. My best friend Neil is a Colts fan, and they're always, "Well, Rick, where's your Lombardi?"
Oh, for sure. Rick, dude, thanks for coming on. You're down there in enemy territory just outside Chicago. Thanks for coming on. It's a good story. Let's keep it rolling here, Declan. Who's next on Ventline?
Yeah, let's go to Danny in Colorado with your Wild jersey. The one team that actually can figure out a win in this state. Danny, what's going on?
Well, the Vikings won. The Vikings won the game tonight.
Oh, sorry.
I know, but come on, guys. I'm sitting here and it's like, we're up by 15. It's 29-14. And, we throw the pick. And I know it was off the defender. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. My buddy's back there, and he's over there in Elk Mountain, Wisconsin. He's in enemy territory. And I'm like, you know what? I'm done. The Wild started. It's 8:30 here. I'm ready for some Wild hockey. And I'm watching it here as I'm listening to you guys. And I'm like, here's a team. They're up 3-0 at the end of the second period. And guess what they do? They go down. It's 3-2. And what do? empty net. And what do? Kaprizov, number 97. That's my jersey, number 97. You can't see it on the back. And what do? They score another goal. And it's now 5-2, 10 seconds left. That's what a championship team does. That's what they do. They let them get a little bit in, and they say, you know what? We're not going to let you come back. We're not going to choke. We're confident, and we are confident. And here I am watching, and they're hugging each other, and they've just won 5-2. And I said, you know what? That's where my emotional energy goes. And like I've told you before, I'm the same age as Judd Zelkett. I was born in 1970, and I'm like, you know what? This is a championship team. And I know when they get crazy and they get all squirrely over there as a Viking team, I'm like, you know what? That's not what this team does with the Wild.
That Bear Club.
There you go. There it is right there. And that's what a championship team looks like. So when you're under pressure, you pound it and you pound it and you pound it. And there's a confidence they have. And they're like, we're just going to add more goals. We're going to finish this out. And when they were only up by 29-14, I could feel poorly, like, here we go again. And then you got this guy Boyd, and he's taunting a guy, and I'm like, now we get another first down, we give up. And I'm like, they don't have it. They don't have a killer instinct this year. The defense does not. So I just really wanted to get on tonight to say that's what I did. I'm like, you may go to bed. It's 10:30. You got to get up in the morning, but I'm going to watch the Wild because I know how they usually end. Not like this team who just barely squeaked it out. Barely. And I don't feel like a victory. I don't walk away from tonight like, oh my God, we won, 36 to whatever. It's like, no, that was sad. That just was sad on national TV. You almost let them back. So I just want to share that. Thanks, guys.
Amen, Danny. Amen, Danny.
Get that claw. Get that claw.
We'll be waving the flag tomorrow. We'll be waving the damn flag.
Skates. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, you get that. You know what that is? That's a W.
I can use to scratch these whiskers off my face. I got to do tonight.
Means
so I can probably do it. Yeah,
that's winning right there. That's the feeling of winning.
You can't see me. My time is now.
That's right, John Cena.
Back-to-back empty net goals. Yeah.
That's how you close. That's how you finish
closers.
An opponent. Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Vikings vent line continues on here.
Let's go to Ryan. Ryan, what's up, man? You're on Vikings vent line. How are you?
What's up, boys? Can you hear me?
What's going on, dude? Yeah.
Okay, first off, before I get into what I wanted to say, it has been a long time since I've been on vent line. Last time I was on, Mackie, you called me Gardner Minshew's cousin. With my flowing locks that unfortunately are gone.
Oh.
A little sad.
Dude, your guy Gardner Minshew, man, like that celebration with his dad in the parking lot after that game last weekend.
Quarterback right there.
That is a leader right there. Yes.
I'm not going to talk about the Vikings because everything has already been said at this point. But as a football fan, nothing made me more furious about that game than seeing Chase Claypool celebrate getting a first down inside 2 minutes with no timeouts. Yeah. Nothing made me more upset than watching that. Mm-hmm. I physically got angry and had to get up off of my couch because I was so angry at that. And I was rooting for the Steelers to lose.
That's one of the dumbest things you're going to see on a football field this season, right?
Yeah.
Even if he cost them 5 or 6 seconds, getting that ball back to the center position, and it might give you a little clue into Mike Tomlin's frustration with Chase Claypool saying, "I think we need to play more music at practice. I think that would really help us quite a bit." And Mike Tomlin's like, "How about Chase Claypool shuts up and just focuses on running routes as a wide receiver?"
Yeah, just an absolute child. Like it makes no as a former wide receiver back in high school, the thought of even celebrating in that whole drive it should never have even crossed his mind that he did it. It made no sense to me.
So here's his quote too for explaining that celebration. He said, "Quote: I got tackled near the hash and did my little finger down point and went to hand the ball to the ref. He just got there, and then the ball got knocked out of my hands. That's what cost us time, but I definitely do have to be better."
Okay, guy. By the way, Ryan, thank you, man. You're getting a little weird feedback or something from
the
microphone there, but definitely we need Gardner Minshew's cousin back on the show here sometime soon.
I love Judd. Can we do that celebration tomorrow? Can I just give you a nice punch right in the chest like he did to his old man?
No, I'm too old for that crap.
Okay, all right. Just
and I think the Minshews are different, dude. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you right now. I think they're different than us.
Yeah, those guys are operating on a different level.
Yeah,
for
they
sure.
are, which good for them. I'm happy for them.
You might stop Judd's heart if you attempt to do that to him.
Yeah, or mine. So one of the two. So
one of us
could
could get
one
hurt,
of us
and
is
nobody
getting
wants to
severely
get hurt.
All right.
I'm thin now. I'm petite, so just leave me
you're just
alone.
Like me. You and your, we're on the same genes here in a second.
leave
Let's
me
go. Is it Kurte? Kurt? What do we got here? I can't.
It's Kurte, man.
Kurte.
Long time no talk, guys.
What's going on, Kurte?
Well, when the game started, I looked like Declan, and now I look like Mackie and Judd.
Yeah, you got the good gray going too, just like I do.
Yeah, I did a little trim today. Maybe you might want to think about the same.
I got to go to the barber. I've done a trim with tried to take the scissors to it. Doesn't work so well.
The scissors?
No, you get the electric trimmer, Judd.
Get it like.
I don't
and
have
there's
one
like
of those.
Judd, get the electric trimmer.
I go to
It's
the barber
very
once in
easy.
a while, $5. He shaves it.
Very nice.
Shaves it up for me.
It's great.
Okay, all right.
It's great.
Target.
At any rate, God, it's been like since 2018 since we've talked, probably.
Where you been?
I used to be a very regular caller to your 1500 show, as you may recall. But I wanted to bring some positivity. I'm so sick and tired of hearing negativity. I mean, my God, we won the bleeping game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were up by 29. Yeah, it happens. Those other guys get paid too. They played the game. They won the bleeping game.
Hang the
Can
banner,
we just
baby.
enjoy it and just say we won? And if we win the next 4,
zero chance.
We're in the playoffs, man. Are you kidding me?
LFG.
This terrible team is in the playoffs.
Wait a second. You just exposed yourself as being a complete fraud when you dropped the S-bomb on this team. Just admit it. You're
they're a
frustrated as
crappy
the rest
team.
of us. Yeah,
I was trying to bring a new take, Judd. You like a new take.
I know, but then you
don't
can't call them a bleeping bad team. You got to live up to the rant of how can Mackie and Judd and Declan be so negative when you've got this Super Bowl contending team with all this talent. You don't appreciate Zim and Spielman. You can't call them crappy.
Okay, well, there's that.
By the way,
There's
I love how Kurte comes on. He's like, no, we're going to take something that's a negative and spin it into a positive. And I can hear the Bally Sports North music in the background.
Coming up next on Wild Live, how many other teams won a Stanley Cup in the month of December?
Hey, there's one team we can root for, so maybe you should have a wild wine line.
Hey, wait till the playoffs, Kurte. Wait till the
Kurte,
playoffs.
welcome back. Thanks for coming on, dude. We appreciate it. Kurte making his long-awaited return to Vikings.
While I was grabbing that towel, was there a special word that was said that I need to be aware of?
Yeah, he dropped an S word as soon as you got up.
Thank you.
To grab the towel.
Just wanted to.
And then it exposed him completely because his whole rant was supposed to be positive. And then he called him a bleeping
a crappy team.
Yeah.
A crappy team.
Yeah.
All right, who is next? Vikings vet line.
Let's go to the other Ryan. Ryan, what's up, man? You got us okay? There he is.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Oh, you got the
What's
jersey,
up, dude?
You got the jersey from tonight. Very good.
Oh yeah, I got the Adam Thielen going. We got the
Nice.
the old school jerseys for tonight.
Yeah.
So,
Little color rush.
I was just wondering, what do you guys think about Brian Dable? I mean, I love how he.
I think he's got a great look, personally.
Yeah.
I think he's a handsome man myself.
Great head. He's got a great.
So
scalp.
yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about head coach for him in the future? I mean, I know I'm kind of going over myself here with Mike Zimmer firing, but I think he's my guy. So I just want to know what you guys think.
Judd?
He would be among the people I would definitely talk to. We talked about this a couple of days ago. This is sort of a tough hire in the sense that you're trying to take a lot of people who are like OCs and judge if they're going to be good head coaches, which is a difficult decision. But I mean, they've done a lot of good things in Buffalo. I would like to know how much he has to do with the development of their quarterback, because I swear 3 years back, Josh Allen was not accurate and like did a lot of things that I think are ordinarily things that don't go away. Like if you can't hit the broadside of a barn in your second year, I don't think that a lot of guys like fix that, but he seems to have. So I would like to know exactly what the roles are in Buffalo with the coaches as far as his development, because he's turned himself and they've helped turn him into a really nice QB.
Absolutely.
And if he's got that touch, I wouldn't dismiss that. That'd be important to me.
Right. So yeah, no, I agree. Definitely.
Good stuff, Ryan. Yeah, we also on Mackey and Judd earlier in the week, I think it might have been Monday or Tuesday, we did go through a list of 6 offensive-minded head coach candidates that might be a fit for the Vikings, and we ranked them on a 1 to 10 scale of how interested we are. And I believe Kellen Moore and Byron Leftwich were the two that we. And I'm kind of a Doug Peterson stan just because he's been there and he's won a Super Bowl before, even though it was a fiery disaster at the end of his Philly run. Yeah. So I'd throw him in
shameless
there too.
plug too, because I know Phil looks like Brian Dable now. Go to my Twitter page right now and look at the before and after, what Phil looked like before this game versus what Phil looks like after this Vikings game.
Is that the young
Phil?
Phil?
Little young Mac and Jack that surfaced
from
from a company email today. There's a little side-by-side of what Phil looked like at 29-0 and what it looked like by the start event line. So
Vikings
Phil was full of hope back then, Declan.
Vikings will add about 27 years to your life.
Phil was full of hope. Thought things were good.
Yeah, that picture was taken, by the way, at Canterbury Park, fresh off a big poker win, I think, if I recall right. Yeah,
there you go.
That's right. Back in the old poker days. All right, Vikings vent line. Little therapy session after a win here, apparently, is what this has been.
Matt, what's up, man? You're on vent line. How are you?
Hey, good night, guys. I'm out in Maryland, so enjoying it out here.
Right.
I had one thing to say.
Oh, I think here I'm gonna throw Matt back in the Matt. Your microphone kind of cut out on us there.
Breaking
so
up.
We'll come back to you in a second.
We'll come back just in a second. Let's go to the postman though. In the meantime, postman, what's up, dude? You're on vent line.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good,
What's
dude.
up,
how are
postman?
You? Well, thanks for burning the midnight oil, and definitely thanks for Declan for letting me on here. That's definitely awesome. First of all, I just want to talk about the offensive line. First of all, in terms of left tackle, it's probably easiest if we would just move somebody from a different position, a la Ezra Cleveland, Brian O'Neill. If somebody's worth being a starting tackle in the NFL, even for a game or two, you're not going to find that guy on the bench, and you're not going to be able to pay him enough money to be on the bench.
I think though the problem is though, like if you keep shuffling all those offensive line deck chairs, because like Ezra even had like a decent game tonight. I mean, but I know what you mean where they really are afraid to address offensive line in free agency too. Like it'd be like Alex Boone, and they gave big money to Mike Remmers and Riley Reif, but the last few years they've just been terrified to give big money to offensive linemen when Joe Thuney was sitting out there.
What's dumb about that though is Riley Reif worked out.
Yes.
Like they spent big money on Riley Reif, and he was very good. So I don't know why. I think it was. I don't know if it was as much about them hesitating to spend on offensive line this year as much as it was Mike Zimmer really wanted to sign a bunch of defensive players. But at this point, clearly they're incapable of just developing 5 really good offensive linemen on their own. So if you can't develop pitching in baseball, go sign pitching. Go trade for pitching. You know, quit doing the same thing over the last 6 or 7 years. Oh.
And they've got Darisaw at that position. He's hurt. Now, I just don't get why you would – the thing that makes no sense is why you would juggle 3/5 of the line now. Like, just plug in Rashad Hill, who started the first 5 games. That's what makes no sense here, is trying to move your guard to tackle, and then you move your center to guard, and then you take a guy who you benched, and rightfully so, and move him back in. That's what – like, that's why you have backups who can, you know, play, for instance, in this case, 8 quarters of football for you. So that's where I'm confused as to why you would take a struggling right guard, and I know he's a tackle by trade, but have him play left tackle. I would have preferred Rashad Hill just come back off the bench. It's not perfect, but it's a better idea than juggling the entire line.
Yeah, the other thing is center and right guard. Mason Cole obviously proved he can pass block at center, which Bradbury can't. But the one thing Bradbury can do is he can run block and reach block. So would make more sense to put him at right guard. Put Bradbury at right guard, Mason Cole at center. And then with Bradbury at right guard, he's most often facing a 3 technique. So then he can just reach block, which is what he does best all game long for the run game. So I don't quite understand why Mason Cole and Bradbury switched the way they did.
Some of the great mysteries of life, my man. Some of the great mysteries of life. You're preaching to the choir here.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Like your center, if Mason Cole and Kirk Cousins had a good vibe for 3 or 4 weeks, why you would break that up is bizarre and to me malpractice. But Postman, thanks for coming on, dude. Some good offensive line questions there.
See you, Postman.
Appreciate it. And I think we should let Judd get on here from US Bank Stadium because we got to get up early, boys, and recap this thing on an even deeper level.
Yeah.
So
gotta go.
We gotta
go.
I had an entire column written by the end of the third quarter about how the Vikings kicked ass, and I was going to hit publish on that sucker. I was going to be done, and now I've got to go home and rewrite the entire thing because it no longer holds up because they almost lost. Or at least, in fairness, it was almost tied.
You should go on Twitter and complain about how late you had to work at a sporting event tonight. I think that'd be a big thing.
Yeah, and then complain about your like some sort of flying issue.
Right.
Of some
I can tell you some flight stories if you'd like.
Right.
Days of the Star Tribune.
If you, I can't imagine if you got bumped out of first class to like Delta Comfort. Like I couldn't imagine how difficult that would be. Really or bad. Like if you got downgraded from a king bed to a queen bed.
I'm not going to fall for this. I'm not going to fall. I'm not going to fall for what you're doing right now. These people are great friends of mine. They've got a lot of Marriott points. I think it's really unbecoming of you to pick on them.
Oh, man. Well, if you guys are still watching us, thank you. Appreciate it. And if you could click the subscribe button and the like button on the Purple Daily YouTube channel, it would go a long ways to spreading the word about this show. Daily Vikings entertainment and therapy and whatever else you want to bring our way. And Vikings Vent Line will be back after the Bears game in 2 Mondays from now. Yeah. But we still got you covered on the Purple Daily channel with daily Viking shows between now and then. I want to shout out Federated too, because Federated has been a huge supporter of ours on Purple Daily and all across Score North. They help business owners with risk management. They help you with peace of mind. They have trusted resources and people. They've been around for over 100 years, so they know what they're doing, and they can help you prevent bad things from happening or from affecting your business in a negative way, and they can help maximize the success of your business. Federatedinsurance.com, and remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours. All right, dudes, that's a wrap.
Can it help the Vikings?
A victory version of Vikings Vent Line.
Can
help
they coach football?
What? Oh, they won the game.
Can they coach football? Can they coach defense?
I don't know. They got up to a 29-point lead. I don't know what more you want.
I got a question for you, Federated. Can you coach defense?
Maybe they should coach positivity. Maybe that's what you need. A little more positivity.
Go wild, Judd. Let's go wild. Judd's Hockey Show, Score North.
We got to do one of those tomorrow.
We got that going for us. Yeah, we got
All right.
All right,
bye,
guys.
buddy.
Thanks for hanging out. Vikings Vent Line.